Howdy folks, it's Mama B, and today I am making goulash. Now my good friend Susan Markle, she's the neatest lady, guys, and she has an excellent YouTube channel. And she started making goulash, and her recipe is completely different than mine, but also looks very similar. So if you want to check out a different recipe that might be easier, it could be really good. I haven't tried it yet. But I'm going to make this one because this is my traditional, and hers seems quite easy actually, but this one's not too hard either. This is pretty basic. So basically we're frying up some hamburger, and we're going for a half a pound for this recipe. And I'm going to warn you right now, I do mine to taste, so I don't really measure the seasonings. But I crave this stuff quite often. And my recommendation for you is, if it doesn't taste quite right, by adding a little more garlic, because garlic is so good. And it's good for you. Keep back colds and stop you from getting sick. Good stuff. Helps kill off the bad bugs if you are sick. So we're just cooking this up. That's it. This is about 15% fat, 85% meat. So if you are one of those that doesn't want the fat in there, you can strain that off. This one doesn't seem to have a lot of fat. I'll show you. And I'm really mostly just cooking it up to break down the meats a little bit, and, you know, kind of grinding it up. And then I'm going to take a quart of tomatoes. Now these I did myself. I bottled them up myself, and that's always kind of nice to have it. And I'm just going to dump the whole thing in. So just dump that whole jar right in there. Watch out for splashes. And then rinse out your jar with a little bit of water. Get all that yummy goodness. You might want more water when this is all said and done. I think you will. Probably we'll know after we add the pasta. This is a nice dump and go kind of a recipe. Okay, so now we want some seasonings in there. And you really got to do it to taste. But onion, it's a pretty safe one. So this is dried minced onion. I don't love raw onion. It makes me cry for hours after I've used it. So we're just going to dump a nice little pile of onion in there. You can always add more. And then garlic is key. I'm going to tell you about garlic. We use a lot of garlic, so we use the bulk stuff. But garlic, you go by smell. So we're going to throw some in there. Just a little sprinkle there. It's probably about a teaspoon that I've got in there right now. I'm going to stir it around, get that heat going on it, and it's going to cook up. And you'll start smelling it. And if you can't smell it, you don't have enough garlic. I guarantee it. If you can't smell it, you might want to taste it. And then Italian seasoning. Is it Italian or Italian? I don't know. I can never keep it straight. So if you're Italian, don't be mad at me. It's my weakness, not yours. We all have them, right? Alright, so Italian seasoning, you want to, it's about the same amount of Italian seasoning as it is garlic. So, you know, make a little pile there. This stuff is fresh. It smells so good. I just barely opened the container. And it's packed in there nice and tight, so it doesn't want to come out very well. But I'm going to say about half a teaspoon. Maybe a teaspoon. Because I just eyeball it and smell it. You know, and if it smells good, it's going to taste good. And if you're not sure, taste it, and then you'll be sure. Alright, so we're just going to let that simmer for a bit. And we're going to move on to the pasta. Now this is where you know if you've got enough juice in there. And I'm going to say you probably don't, because pasta absorbs a lot of juice. And you want it to be a little bit juicy after the fact. So, you know what? I'm going to measure this just for the fun of it. I'm going to measure it for you. It's a sloppy measurement because we're going to say 2 cups of pasta. Sound good? And then stir that around. Okay, now you can see that the pasta is not covered. So we are going to want to add some more water. So I'm just going to take my jar of tomato juice. Take my jar of tomato juice and just start pouring. And right about the time that it covers the pasta, you're getting close. Now the other thing you want to do is you want to taste this. It's going to need some salt. The garlic's tasting good, so is the Italian seasoning. So let's add some salt. About a half teaspoon salt. Stir it in. Taste it again. And that's getting good, but I think it might need a little bit more salt. So I'm going for another half teaspoon. So we'll say a teaspoon of salt for this, because we'll bring out all those flavors of the tomatoes and the seasonings, and especially the garlic, because it's so good. Yep, that's better. That's good stuff. And we're just going to let it sit and cook. And pasta, it takes about 15 minutes to cook. So we're just going to let it cook for 15 minutes. We are cooking this on a medium heat, but you want to stir it on occasion to not let it burn. And I want to tell you about my little tool here that I'm using. This is by Tevolo, and it is the best cooking instrument I have ever come across. It's got a spade on this, or paddle on this side. It's good for spreading sandwiches, for flipping things on your grill. It's an all-in-one, and it's really great. And then this is just the perfect shape and size of spatula. It's good for stirring. It's silicone. Seriously, they should hire me to sell these things, because I love them, and no one can tell me anything that would change my mind about it, because they're so good. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes, and you can see that the pasta is starting to swell a little bit, and you can kind of see it coming up above the surface of the liquid. That means that there's not enough liquid in here, because as it continues to swell, you're going to have very thick pasta, and it's going to start sticking to the bottom or burning because it's not got enough place for it to go. So we're going to add a little bit more water, but if you see the pasta start rising, that's what you're going to look for. As you get to 12 minutes of cook time, you don't have to worry about it so much, but yeah, we're going to need more water than that. You can see it's still rising above. That looks like it ought to do the trick. We'll let it finish out its 15 minutes. So this is after it's cooked for 15 minutes. The pasta's all fluffed up, and you can see it's come back out of the fluids again. So we added the right amount of fluids, maybe even a little bit more could have been put in. And now from here on out, this is perfect just like it is. But if you like an extra little sweet pop, add some of that corn that we showed you how to preserve. And that adds a nice little pop. I like to add it right at the end because it's cold and it'll cool down the rest of it so you don't burn yourself when you're eating it. And you know it's ready when the corn melts and all separates, comes together with the pastas. Right there, folks. That is some deliciousness that I grew up on. This goes really well with garlic bread if you want to just add an extra layer. It's a beautiful dinner. And again, if you're looking for a different recipe, check out Susan Markle's channel. I'll put the description and the link. I'll put the link in the description below. And she's got a great channel. So, Susan, this one's for you, and thought I'd share this with you. Hope you all have a wonderful day.